The commentary box once more. Welcome to Season 4, Round 3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm here joined with IPR 56.
Hello everyone. Quite excited.
And, yes, absolutely. There are some fantastic defining things that could define this entire race. Could it be a disaster? Could it be glorious? We'll just have to find out. Now, I think mainly it was Danny JJ who's been tanking it out in the front of the field. However, with not really a Lewis Hamilton type dominance in the field, we could still be seeing other drivers putting on a show for us and getting to pole position and maybe even winning the race. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hoping at least this is going to be a good race. I did some commentary for the Development League yesterday, and that was a brilliant race, so I'm really hoping it's going to be a good one. I also really do like this track, so fingers crossed that we have some fun racing tonight.
Indeed. But once more, there could be some disasters that we saw at Azerbaijan. However, I doubt it will be as catastrophic as last week's race. For, it's a street circuit. It's just bound to go wrong. However, this is a slightly enclosed track. However, it's not too tight for the drivers to make a pass through, so we could be seeing some very nice overtaking today, especially around, say, turns around 5 and 6 would be definitely interesting to see the drivers getting their elbows out and going wheel to wheel.
Yeah, there was a lovely move from Hector Zola in the Dev League race at turn 10, the downhill left-hander. Really nice to see one of those again. That was a brilliant move.
Maybe he'll try again with this other grid of drivers. However, once again, only time can tell, and now with 18 minutes on the clock, the drivers will be raring to go to get their first qualifying session out of the way. As you can hear in the background, the V6 turbos are starting to be revved and warmed up, and that looks to be a Red Bull out of the pits. That's going to be the Red Bull of Careless Jackson coming out of the pits, and then a McLaren right behind, that being, I believe, Nope, that's Edgar. That's XRL Edgar. Now, what are we going to be trying to look for today? Are we looking for consistency, or are we just looking for outright incredible lap times? To be honest, in these Grand Prix, I cannot remember. Because, well, there's always a very large mash with a bit of both in between.
Yeah, it's difficult because I think this is a track where, well, obviously it's a track where speed is key, but I think because there's not too many places where you can make fatal mistakes, you really have just got to be quick, and even if you are consistent, it sometimes isn't the best. So speed is important, but I mean, as always, if you can keep it clean, I reckon you'll still have a pretty good race today.
Oh, absolutely. With Edgar now coming out of... Oh, oops. On. There we go. Now we have the map so that way you can see everything. Oh. There we go. So as Edgar now comes out of the fairly long S-bend, now onto the very sharp bend before the two straights, and then back to the finish. Oh, I see he's warming up his tires as, well, he should. So that way he can continue to get grip in those softs, and then he can do an absolute flyer of a lap. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're possibly, obviously not yet in Q1, but moving into kind of the rest of the qualifying. I reckon, over X1 they were setting low 125s. I don't know if we'll ever see something that quick today, but I think anything in the kind of 126s or below is pretty decent time. So maybe not yet, but we'll be looking for those kind of speeds come the later sessions.
I see. Yes, indeed, it is crucial for the drivers right now to remember their bearings from this week's practice session, to remember everything that they've taught themselves on track, and to display it here today in front of our eyes. Now, some main drivers that we are going to be trying to watch for today is going to be Wise, who has so far had an astounding lead, and then Waldo right behind with around 26 points, placing him in second. Of course, nothing compared to Wise's 54 points. And then there's Careless Jackson, who has now posted his first quality time, that being a 127.1. Then Edgar coming in with a 126.3. Then Young Maneuver coming in with a 126.8, placing him in second. However, once again, with all qualifying times, that can shift. Then Fiend posts a 126.7. So far, everybody's starting to get near that post 126 mark that you were predicting earlier. But I doubt they were. I doubt you were thinking that it would be this quick. Tigurus now coming in with a 126.5, and Mini coming now in with a 127.8. Now Tootie takes pole position for Q1 with a 126.1. That's Edgar now. Or no, that's me.
Just thinking or looking at the gap that you said about with the Wyatt versus the Waldo, 54 points to 26. That's an insane gap already. So I think you mentioned it before, but there may be a bit of a Lewis Hamilton style dominance starting to come on here.
Perhaps, but the number 12 of Wise, having a okay season, is just wishing to go all out now that Ultimate and Beer Boost have gone to and transferred to X1. So he's wishing to see what he can do with his skills that no longer the main two competitors for the X2 title are now off to the higher rank of X1. And it seems that Wise wishes to be also pushed up to that position. So he'll be doing everything he can to continue to get these consistent wins! Oh, and that's Wise off. That's Wise off a lot, offsides, probably to let this driver go by, and I believe that is of Jail Ben. I said that name right. Oh, and now Wise taking second with a 126.2. Definitely putting some pressure on Tootie with around 1/100th of a second slower than Tootie is. Or no, than Wise is. Now with Tamir F1 with a 129.4. Mr. Shmee with a 136.0. That's going to be very, very slow. He's going to have to try everything he can to get that lap time up. Either that or he's just hoping that nobody else goes so that way he can continue to stay in the top 15. And also, fortunately, we have all 20 drivers accounted for, which is great, because we only had 18 drivers. And then I think we were only like in the... yeah, we only had like 10 drivers by the end of the session in Azerbaijan. So it seems that all eyes are going to be on Wise this weekend, and to see if he can't continue to spread out his lead from Waldo. But once again, we're just going to have to see, as now the that's going to be the Mercedes, the second Mercedes in. Now we are riding on board with the Tamir F1, currently in 10th with a 128.9. Fairly slow. However, we're just gonna have to see if he can't improve on that time, maybe getting somewhere maybe into the top 8.
It's interesting that he's gone out on the mediums in Q1 because obviously they're slower, and you'd think that he'd be saving them to try and go on in Q2.
What I think he's trying to do here, I think he's trying to waste those mediums so that way you can absolutely just abuse the softs. However, that can act as an Achilles heel on its own, with you having to do more stops frequently if, of course, you are running completely on a soft strategy. As Tamir slowly crawls back into the pits. There's Zola in the 24 Ferrari coming now by in the 24 Ferrari machine. So this is going to be his first hot lap, and we're riding on board all the way. With DRS now open and now selecting into 8th gear. He's going to try and brake and get a decent exit on this fairly wide exit through this, what I would say, fairly wide hairpin. However, a good purple Sector 1, that is going to be absolutely crucial for his lap time because probably late Sector 1, Sector 2 all the way is probably the main bits that you need to get for this lap to be almost perfect. With that exit looking pretty okay, he's now selecting into 8th with DRS once more full. As he starts to go now onto the S-bends of Bahrain. And then here comes that second wide hairpin. That's really much more of a right-hander than a hairpin. Now he's going to absolutely dash it down the straightaway here, and then through a couple of corners, and then right down to the finish. So far, it's looking like a consistently good lap. However, not really taking the track borders on the outside, but he makes a fantastic P5 with now P6. I think that was Joe Pelli with a 126.2 that squeezed right in between Edgar and Wise, further putting Edgar and probably the rest of the field back from Wise's so far fairly superb driving skills. Now with Zola in 6th with a 126.5, an absolute incredible lap. Tamir F1 still with that 128.9. Shmi with that 127.9. He's gonna try to find a way past and find a way to persevere to get a better lap time. However, it will be definitely hard with the influence of two Mercedeses now that have gone past him.
And thank you, Young Labour, for your subscription on Twitch. 3 months straight, that is pretty dedicated. Thank you for that.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for all of our Twitch supporters. It's just an absolute fantastic thing to do to celebrate the sport with you and just to absolutely have a blast, even though it is definitely not the real thing. However, it's definitely fun nonetheless, and it's nice to see all 11, or mostly 11 of you guys getting entertained by us, which is once more an absolute honor, as well as our sponsors, that being One Tap, Ends 3D, cdkeys.com, and Clutch Control. Thank you. We're now riding on board with Mini with a 126.8. So far, a decent 11th. However, he's going to try to find maybe continue to find some more tenths, hundredths of a second to maybe find somewhere near Tootie's 126.1, which is definitely a long way off toward through Minnie's time. However, he's gonna continue to see what he can do to at least get up to around where Tygoras is, maybe around 7th. Low now posting a 127.1. With Herbie also posting a 127.6.
And it seems to be a bit of a mistake he's during these like back in here. That's his plan, but yeah.
Yep, there's Wise right in front of Minnie. Perhaps they're going for a kind of a drafting strategy. Nope, never mind. They just let each other through, and into the pits they go. Go the 2 silver arrows.
Jackson
Now is
retiring in the pit lane.
him being the first one. Interestingly, nowhere near, and he has decided to call it quits there. Atway coming out of nowhere with a 125.7, smashing Tootie's lap time of a 126.1. Absolutely incredible, as now Zola and Edgar now retire from the session. So, with Atway continuing to just absolutely dominate through qualifying times, will hopefully continue to keep this consistency up. Just an absolute stunning lap time, that is. Just incredible. However, Tygoras is, has indeed gotten a purple Sector 1, so he will be seeing what he can do to maybe come back and, who knows, maybe get near the top 5. Remember, top 15 is where the chopping block and the cutoff will be. So far, Joe Bend, XRL Herbie, Jeebus John, Shmee, and Smooth are all pretty much in the danger zone, if you will.
Yeah, and there's only 2.5 minutes left, so really you want to be starting to get out, because you do need to be setting a better time.
Absolutely, and now with, unfortunately, Tygoras now getting his lap time invalidated, definitely a regret with coming out that wide onto the final corner of the track. Just definitely played a role in keeping his success at bay.
And thinking of track invalidations, they're not too bad here. There's a few corners, as we've seen with Tygoras, where there's a few points you can invalidate, but to be fair, it's a pretty lenient track. Most spots are fairly easy to get clean and get right.
Absolutely, and of course, constant consistency does in fact matter in Formula 1. If you can just continue to be consistent with at least a decent lap time, you're pretty much set up for the entire race. With so far nobody being able to compare near to Atway's lap time of a 125.7, it's definitely seeming like he's going to stay right there and continue to be for pole position for Q1 with that 125.7. I don't know what's happening to me here. Now with around 1 minute left, it's now or never for these drivers, especially for Jailbend, Herbie, Smooth, Jeebus John, and Shmee. Especially the 2 Alfa Romeos, because that's going to put them extremely far back. So far back that they might even not have the chance to recover in the race. However, once again, the race session is indeed still young, so we're just going to have to see for the verdict here, and to see if they are going to push it for the for maybe the race, because that's going to pretty much be their only option as we now coming to the final 10 seconds of the of Q1.
Shmi is on his final lap now. He's up, but it's not by much, so he may be in a bit of a tricky spot. John is in the pit lane, so he won't be getting through, but all the others are still out on their laps, so we'll have to see if any of them are able to improve.
Absolutely, and fortunately, Mr. Schmid is looking to do an absolute flyer of a lap. However, oh dear, that's a Spinala. Oh,
Fiend as well.
And there's a bit of a tap by, I believe that's going to be either Young Maneuver or Fiend.
Oh,
that's going to be a 5-place grid penalty for Schmid for doing that little Spinala with his McLaren. Definitely unfortunate. That's definitely unfortunate, but I think he could have avoided that incident if he maybe could have just kept it a bit more on the inside if he as he was exiting the corner. Now, unfortunately, his time for maybe trying to redeem himself has indeed come to pass, and fate says no.
And Smooth managed to get up to 13th, and he is safe. Herbie unfortunately invalidated on his final attempt, so he has gone to the pits, and that is it for Q1. Everyone, well, only one person I think actually managed to improve, and it's quite unfortunate for everyone else. No one else seemed to really be able to do much.
And now with Herbie now retiring from the session, he's pretty much given up with his 127.4. Definitely a sad thing to see, but only the fastest survive in qualifying, and that is no exception here in Bahrain. As Q1 comes to a close, here are your current standings for Q1. Atway in first. I think he's pretty much got himself the nickname the Flying Finn here. I mean, wow, just that full second from 2D's time. Anyway, so XRL 2D shortly behind, followed by Wise, followed by Joe, followed by Edgar, and then Danny, Zola, Tigorus, Waldo, Lowe, Fiend, Tamir, Smooth, Careless Jackson, and Young Maneuver rounding out the top 15, with Mini, Gelbend, Herbie, Jeebus John, and Shmee unfortunately not making up the time, and with that 5-place grid penalty will seem to be a bit of a fatal mistake by Shmee's part, with going fairly wide out of the corner before the home stretch.
And because he started in 20th and got the 5-place grid penalty, Danny in the chat says he'll be starting 25th, which would be horrible for him, but luckily F1 isn't that mean, and they let you just start the back.
Suddenly the FIA go out on track right before the race, and they just add at least like 4 more grid boxes.
Oh, I can imagine that now.
As now the V6s once more get raring to go for this now 15-minute Q2 session. All eyes being on Atway, for he is so far currently the fastest on track, however currently not about to set anything currently, because once he is actually not out right now, which is interesting. So we're now on board with Tamir F1 being the first one out the pits, with that brilliant, okay I guess, looking Williams paint scheme. But if I'm gonna be honest, I think he kind of peaked with the Camels. Yeah, with the the camels and cannon paint scheme. And then, of course, modern Williams, I think, peaked with the Martini sponsorship. But, of course, you know, they pulled out of that. So, Williams doesn't really have much to go on for a paint scheme. But I think what they have done for at least last year's season for 2020, I think, looks pretty alright.
Yeah, I quite like it. I prefer it to the kind of, you know, the Colgate toothpaste one of 2019, but yeah, this 2021 is alright, but the 2021 one, I mean, it looks okay on track and what it did in the photos we saw, but I certainly think it's a downgrade from this.
I will admit, it does hurt as a Ferrari fan because of, you know, the green Mission Winnow logo. I know I think they're trying to present like with this carbon dioxide issue, and they're trying to say that they're keeping green, even though they are in fact pretty much a hidden tobacco company. But of course, this is not here for Formula One behind the sponsors, if you will. No, we're here for the thing we all came here for Formula One. That is racing. Now everybody pulling out all of their mediums except Zola, Smooth, and Young Maneuver. Why have they done that and not gone with the rest of the grid with the mediums?
Yeah, that's interesting. The only reason I can think of is that the strategies they've tested, the fast ones are like on softs, but I don't know about in X2, but I know for a fact in Dev, whenever Zola makes the title, he's usually right, so I'm actually interested, because at least from what I've seen, Zola's very good at strategy, so maybe he put some time and thought actually starting on the softs is going to be much better than starting on the mediums.
It could definitely be possible. However, actually, with his incredible lap time and continuing to be incredible lap times throughout Azerbaijan, is indeed looking to maybe continue to get more points on his rival Tigoras, who currently has 20 points, around 2 more points that Ashway needs with that decent points lead, and he'll be right up with Tigoras, and then maybe even past him. Then he has to get through Danny JJ, find Waldo, and Wise, after which, and then he is up in first for the points lead. However, Tootie is once more outswinging first with his 127.1, followed by Wise with a 127.3, followed by Lowe with a 127.6. Then Careless Jackson with a 128.0, and then Tamir F1 with a 128.9. However, once more, because of his hot lap now starting, all eyes are now on Atway, because I know for a fact he goes like a rocket, and not just from last qualifying session do I think this, but also just the incredible speed that he showed in Azerbaijan. With what seems to be a Williams slowing, and I think, yeah, that's Tamir F1 now coming into the pits, I believe. That's going to be Low to set his next... Oh, nope, he's coming into the pits. Here comes Smooth. Oh, Smooth is now posting a 141.2, definitely a pretty good lap time, as long as he can continue to just stay in the top 10. Of course, that's what you're looking to do in Q2. Yes, you're looking for consistency, and you're looking for a good lap time, but you're also looking for just to stay in the top 10 if you're wishing to advance on to Q3. However, Atway currently has a 127.2. Not that I was expecting, to be honest. However, it might be because of the medium tires that might be giving him a bit of a trouble. Either that or he's just accidentally slipped up in a couple of places that he needs to clean up.
Yeah, I think also if the driver's fast enough, it can also be an idea not to push as hard, because obviously if you get the time you need on the mediums, you'll be starting on those, and the less wear you have on those, the better for the race strategy, because you may be able to pit a lap later or something. So that could be a reason, or it could just be simply, yeah, that they are that much slower than the slots. But for now, it seems to be a decent time, so as long as it's good compared to everyone else, I'm sure he won't worry too much.
Oh no, absolutely. However, actually, he does need to continue to just absolutely pummel Tootie with his with a good lap time, and I believe that's. Oh, however, that's not going to be this lap, as actually, unfortunately, invalidates his lap and is now coming into the pits. Wise still in the pits with third position. I'm definitely understanding how Wise does things with his qualifying times. He definitely he likes to just do enough of the amount of the work, and then he just stops, which is absolutely understandable and fairly efficient for Formula One standards, anyways. And there's Waldo with a 127.25, around 100ths of a second faster than Ashway's time. Which is definitely an incredible feat performed by Waldo from his teammate. That he's wedged now in between 2D and Atway. However, now he is slowing to let a McLaren by, and that's going to be the... Oh, wait, no, that's the racing point of Young Maneuver. Going past him there, with now 13 spectators. We're all definitely proud to have you guys with us. And now with, so far, the 6th minute slowly going out, with now near 5 minutes to go in this session. It's definitely now or never for these drivers, especially Fiend, Joe, Danny, Young, and Edgar, who have not actually, in fact, posted a lap time yet, which is fairly concerning. I mean, no, don't get me wrong, it does definitely sift through the who gets out there first and who gets the quickest, or who just stays in the pits. However, it seems all of them are out of the pits. Oh! And I think that's going to be a, that's Tamir. That's Tamir F1. I don't know what's happened to him. Oh dear. He's gone.
Ooh.
I think that was maybe failure through setup, maybe, because he went apparently extremely wide, like out of the exit of the S-bends and then onto the right-hander.
Yeah, that was odd. Well, boxing to go out, but that does mean he won't be getting into Q3, because he's obviously crashed on track, so that is actually, I believe, going to be one less person for everyone to worry about, unless, I believe, unless they don't get the time behind on his. I'm not so sure, it's a bit weird sometimes, but we'll have to see. But yeah, for now, 4.5 minutes left, so still enough time for a lap and a bit, so we probably won't be seeing everyone getting out until right at the end.
Absolutely, and Young Maneuver is continuing to find consistent times through the corners, and he's looking to at least get somewhere near the top 10. And with that fairly decent exit, now he just has to get the DRS right, absolutely on the mark, and just absolutely chaining up through the gears. And that's pole position from Young Maneuver with a 126.5. Absolutely a stellar lap. Talk about from 0 to hero.
Yeah, that is a brilliant lap. I mean, he is on the softs, but even so, it's still a decent lap. So he is definitely going to be one of the ones that's safe going into Q3.
absolutely. Um, there's nothing that can stop him. But Wise, I think, is starting to get a little bit concerned because he's now been pushed all the way back to 6th, which where he was originally was, I think, around like 3rd or 4th. And then he was just absolutely continually pushed back because everybody is continuing to either get past. Oh, and actually, no, there's Danny JJ now with a 127.1, now securing P2. The only one now who hasn't set a lap time is Fiend, and there's a brilliant lap by Fiend with a 126.4. That's both racing points. Now, with around 3 minutes left in the session, that's just talk about a Hail Mary. So now there's 2 racing points that have just absolutely blitzed it through the corners and made an absolute stellar lap.
Yeah, that is really impressive from the racing points. Good to get 2 of them in Q3. Very good for, obviously, for the drivers, but more importantly for the constructors. So I'm sure they will both be happy. But 2 and a bit minutes left now. We've still got a lot of people in the pits, so we may be seeing kind of a rush of everyone getting out in a moment or so.
It could be possible. Now with Joe Pelli being the next one to going on his outlap, he needs to set a decent lap time if he doesn't want to get caught up in that chopping block, because he's right on the edge, if you will, of that serrated knife, and he's going to get cut off from the rest of the pack when Q3 begins. So he's going to try to absolutely pour everything into this final lap to see what he can do to maybe get anywhere near his time that he wishes for. Now with Tigres now retiring from the session in the pits. Now Young Maneuver. I believe the next one to retire will probably be Fiend, because I doubt anybody can touch him at this point. Wise now retiring from the session.
Curtis Jackson coming down the back straight. This is not his only chance to step time. He could continue on, but it's quite difficult to do consecutive laps, so he does need to get this lap quick if he wants the best chance to get through, and he does it. Well, I'll get to the P3 with it as well, so he is definitely safe. Yeah, now we've got the rest all on their outlaps, so beginning to start. Joe Pelli has just started his hard lap, interestingly, still on the mediums, so that might not be great because obviously they're going to be slower than the guy he's competing against, who are all on the soft, so he may be in a bit of trouble here.
It could be possible, however, you just don't know from X2. Joe Pelli has mainly been a bit of a, either midfield to back of the field to maybe even a back marker at times for the rest of the drivers. However, as we saw from Herbie from last week's race in Azerbaijan, it could be that somehow we could get consistent retirements. However, that doesn't seem that it's going to happen, even though Azerbaijan does have walls. They're fairly wide, very much more like the what I like to call the ancient circuits, that being tracks like Spa, Suzuka. However, Suzuka has fairly tight barriers, so stuff like tracks like Silverstone, I feel, with how wide the space is here at Azerbaijan. So, as Joe Pelli makes through his final lap, will it be decent? We can only sit and wait. That's going to be a 1. Oh! That's Edgar. That's Edgar making pole position with a 126.2. Still knocking out Joe Pelli, as well as the rest of the grid from 10th onwards to the back. Absolutely slammed by Joe. That was incredible. Now Smooth, now coming in 5th with a 126.7, saying, nope, I'm out of here. Oh, I didn't actually see who else got in. That was odd.
I think Wise might be put out. Yeah, he is. Wise
Oh,
is
wow.
starting in
And
12th
Atway!
place. And wow, look at that! Literally everyone top 7, all on the soft, just went out and set their times, and that's pushed all of the guys who you would think would be up at the top all the way down to the bottom.
Absolutely incredible. Now with Edgar with the pole position, followed by Fiend, followed by Zola, followed by Young, followed by Jackson. Then Low, Smooth, Danny, Judy, and Waldo making out your top 10. With, surprisingly, Atway, Wise, Tigurus, Joe, and Tamir getting relegated to the chopping block, and now only the top 10 survive here at Azerbaijan as we now go into the final qualifying session for Q3.
So this is it. This is the most important part of the first qualifying for the race, where really you've got probably 2 attempts to get it right. And if not, then I mean you'll be starting 10th, which isn't bad, but you know, starting first is obviously always going to be better. So this is their best chance to do this.
And that's going to be a Ferrari out of the pits first, and that's going to be Low. Now followed by Danny, very much in, like right much in front. Like that's not even a car's length. That's like under a car's length in between these two as they now come out of the pits. Now with one the title contender, that being Wise, and probably the fastest qualifier, that being Atway, now out of the session. It seems that Tootie now has free reign to do whatever he wishes. However, it's going to be definitely a bit harder than that, because remember that now everybody's on softs. The people who have just made it up, that being Zola, Smooth, Young, Low, and Edgar, will now be continuing to scramble for track position, as pretty much all of the cars are now going on their outlap now.
And just on board with Danny, who's currently going to be the first one to start his hot lap. That was just backed off, but the Ferrari of extra low was very close to the back of him. But yeah, you can see that he pulled the yellow tag for a second, and he just had a slap on the brake, so he didn't get in his way.
Absolutely. However, I think Danny would be fairly stressed with that extra amount of pressure being put from behind by Low. However, I guess Low just didn't want the wake of Danny, just in case if something happened with him. This track is definitely not a treacherous one. However, if pretty much like most of the tracks today, if you mess up the first bit, you're probably going to mess up the rest of the circuit if you don't get the first bit right.
Yeah, I think the only real treacherous part is probably the, as I like to call it, curve 2, turn 12, which you can see Danny about to go into now, where, as I'm sure you know, if you touch this curve here that you've already got very close there, you will more than often spin, and if you're lucky you won't hit the wall, if you're unlucky you hit that wall, and that can completely ruin your race, and it's one that's not too easily avoidable. But we haven't seen anyone spin there just yet, but there may be one in the race. As all, Smooth is out.
Smooth? Oh wow! So how has that happened? That's Smooth now out of the session, right next to the pit lane. I think that's gonna be a bit of a penalty.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's not exactly a place that you usually see someone crashed at, because, well, I mean, I know Lewis Hampton's gone there today in testing, but it's not exactly a difficult corner to take, that last corner, so I'm very confused as to how he's just crashed out there.
Indeed. Well, maybe, maybe never know. However, Waldo now setting a 1:25.9, now being the fastest lap of the race, followed by Danny with a 1:26.0, followed by Edgar with a 1:26.4, followed by Careless Jackson with a 1:26.5, and then followed by Low with a 1:27.5. We're starting to see some really, really quick lap times here.
Yeah, I think getting into the 125 is obviously going to be crucial if you want to have a chance of taking pole position, and I reckon we will see an improvement on the pole time. It's going to be how much. You know, we've seen in F1 125.5s, and I reckon even if they can get to maybe 0.7, it'll be a really impressive time. So we'll just have to see. But it's weird because obviously some of the really quick drivers have been knocked out due to, I don't know what really happened due to, but some of them have been knocked out, so we may not be seeing the quickest time possible from someone, although I know these drivers here are still very quick, but it's a bit of a mixed up order, really.
Absolutely, it's been definite frenzy at the end of Q2, so it's definitely interesting to see the rest of these drivers competing against each other for the rest of the qualifying session, and that being as now we clock down to near 5 minutes.
And I think a few of us drivers did it, but I was on board with 2D, and he was on a lap and then went into the pits. So a few of the guys seemed to just be struggling to set a lap. He wasn't validated. He must have just lost some traction or something at one point, but for now, everyone apart from Zola, who will be getting in the pits now, is in the pits, and we'll probably only see people come out when we get to the kind of final 3 in 2 minutes when there's that dash to get on track.
Absolutely, and then there's the red team to greet the Ferrari in, as now they pick it up and carry it inside. Ah, there's a Red Bull out. I think that's going to be 2D. Nope. That's going to be Waldo. Or no, that's Careless Jackson. And then that's Fiend in the Racing Point. And as drivers continue to get further out of the pit box and on track, so far Fiend is looking fairly slow and actually lets 2D pass. So it seems to be that 2D will be the next one to do a flying lap. But the only question is, how good of a flying lap will he do? With that fairly wide entrance into the S-bends, he's just not wishing to touch turn 12. Otherwise, that's going to set you up for an absolute incredible spinala. I know, I've done that like multiple times during I guess season testing. With now 2D finished with his out lap, now coming on for his hot lap here at Azerbaijan. With around 4 minutes left, he's going to be trying to do everything he can to get near Waldo and his 125.9, which is going to be a definite hard task to do, but we could see it.
Ooh, that's the validation of 2D. That is not good.
That is going to Ding.
And I mean, I don't know if he can get back in the pits. He can get round probably to set another lap, but his tyres are going to be a bit warm, and he may have to be low on fuel. So he may get a lap in, but it might not be as quick as it could have been, which really isn't good for him.
Absolutely not. So it seems that Waldo is going to continue to hang on, or for at least as long as possible, with low, trying to see any kind of time past his teammates. However, it doesn't seem that it's going to happen. However, it could happen. In fact, this lap by with a fairly decent second sector, I think I saw, with him now going through Sector 3, and I think he's going to set him up for an absolute flyer of a lap. However, though, he is definitely low on fuel, and he will just get past low with a 126.7, and that's Fiend with a 126.4, getting past and wedging himself in between Edgar and Careless.
Waldo is just coming on to the end of his lap. Let's see if he can improve on his already very quick lap, although he's actually gone much slower. I think that was must have messed up because that was a very slow, almost hot lap. I think he's on another hot lap now, but similar story to 2D. He's on some slightly older tyres, so he may not be able to
that's
improve.
Waldo! That's Waldo accidentally doing a bit of a glide into the near the barrier. Fortunately, doesn't take one of his tires off. And I think that was Zola who just came past with now a 126.4.
That is not good. He hasn't damaged his wing, but his tyres may be a bit dead after that. So he's just going to have to hope that no one else steals it. 2D's about to finish his lap. This is his only chance, really, because he's low on fuel. Ooh, P2! Ooh, so close, a 125.98. So close to that top spot, but not quite.
Absolutely an incredible lap by 2D. So that will put him second, as long as nobody else comes into steal, in which that could be that Fiend is coming in to do such that. Nope, he's not. He's going into the pits. Maybe Edgar. No, he's coming into the pits too. And then that's low slowing. That's Fiend now retiring from the session.
Solo has also validated that he won't be improving, which means that there's not many other drivers who could steal it. I think Curtis Jackson's on a lap, and I think Young Maneuver as well, but it's looking pretty good at the moment for Waldo.
Yep, it's now or never for these drivers. But they both go into the pits. What did Careless Jackson do? Careless just went kind of all over the shops.
Danny is on his lap, and he is up by about a tenth. It's not much. I don't know if it'd be enough to improve. It may be enough to get second if we can keep this final sector clean.
Absolutely. However, with that low fuel, he will have to do it extremely fast. And unfortunately, he won't make the top with his 126.037. That's going to settle himself into third position now. However, so far, so a pretty decent qualifying, I would say, for as we now round out the full qualifying session as we now usher into the race. That's going to be Waldo on pole position, followed by 2D, followed by Danny, followed by Edgar, and followed by Zola. Then Fiend, Careless Jackson, Low, Young, and Smooth, rounding up your top 10.
That was a pretty interesting qualifying, and yeah, those times for the top two, just 700ths separate them, so that's hopefully boding well for the race, and that we'll have some close action going all the way up to the front of the grid.
Absolutely, and we can definitely. I'm definitely foreseeing, unfortunately, maybe some carnage in the future of this race. Maybe when we go lights out, because even though previously, X2 was an absolute clean clean bunch as they started with lights out. However, it might not seem that way. Um, but before we get into the madness that possibly will be this race, um, not only I, but the rest of XRL is wishing to take this time to remember a fantastic commentator from the real world of F1. That being that's going to be Murray Walker, who unfortunately passed away yesterday at the age of 97. An absolute incredible life. He lived 97 years. Just absolutely an incredible voice, and probably the best voice in Formula One. And we're wishing to take this break in silence to remember his just absolute legacy that he laid down for Formula One. With the 1 minute of silence now being elapsed, I'm wishing to tell all of our viewers. When I started commentating here, I'm gonna be honest. I just completely followed in Murray Walker's footsteps on how he was just absolutely explosive with his wording and just how incredible he was as a commentator. But not only as a commentator, but as a person. I mean, he made some fantastic friends, including Jacques Villeneuve, and Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, he really was a really good guy.
Absolutely, and he absolutely will be missed by the rest of the Formula One community all around the world. So, fortunately, it will be seeming that I think that's gonna be uh, no, oh well. So now with Wise being the first one to uh hit ready up. All the other drivers will now be readying up. And we'll be going loud. And as usual, I'll be doing it in a Murray Walker style to also remember just the absolute incredible commentator that he was for the sport of Formula One. But anyways, here we go. 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's go, 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 go! And here we have, well, most of the drivers getting off away cleanly, followed by 2D. Oh, that's all kinds of carnage! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic! And that's both. Oh dear! Talk about carnage on the first lap. That's Tigurus. That's Jelvin. That's Herbie. All out of the session. Just absolutely incredible. The train of cars are trying to get around. Yellow flags, sector 1. That's also seeming to be, I think that's, what the?
I think there might have been some issues because everyone's leaving and that start was obviously crazy.
We got an error code. Oh dear. Yeah, something went terribly wrong. I think we saw, in fact, a multiple driver disconnect.
I think we're going to be having a restart there because there are a lot of... that was crazy.
Yeah, we already had 3 people retired from the session. Did you have... Yeah, all of a sudden I just saw... Oh, there we go. We're all... So now I'm just gonna try and reconnect with Zola and join back into the game. Because I have absolutely any way of an idea of what just happened.
That was surprising.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking, that we're getting a word from. Oh no, we're not getting word from Zola. I thought we were. I don't know. It just suddenly got just absolute carnage. Really quickly. That was both Renaults out of the session, including which I think that was Danny JJ. But I think what happened was I think the server crashed. Yeah, talk about drama.
That was the real start to the race. That was... well, safe to say there would be some complaints from some of the drivers about that.
Hopefully it won't bother them for the rest of the race. Yeah, but I have just absolutely no idea what just happened in front of my eyes. Suddenly, here come all of the drivers, then all of a sudden I think I saw a racing point going wide, and then suddenly coming into the crowd. Or not, like, into the stands, I just mean into the other drivers, including which I think I saw a Ferrari, a Red Bull, a Williams. Just absolute maddening carnage as it has unfolded. So, I'm getting word from Zola now. Oh dear, that's wise. That's wise. He apparently readied up early. And that's gonna be wise going now to the back of the grid.
Ooh,
ouch.
That is not ideal for him.
Absolutely not. What do you reckon? Do you think he elbowed it? Do you think he accidentally hit his steering wheel on the A button?
Yeah, I mean... not too sure what happened there, but... I I mean, he was starting, I believe, 11th or 12th, so it's still quite a bit of way back, which, I mean, we know he's quick, so maybe he can, maybe this is his chance to go for a last to first race, but even so, it's not in the best spot.
Absolutely, and fortunately, we're only now missing one more driver from the lineup to get all of this back and underway. But yeah, I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think that was Murray's ghost that decided to play a trick on us. What do you reckon? Now with, fortunately now all drivers are once more now in the lobby. I was just wondering, you are looking at the chat, right, IPR? What
Yeah.
is chat going just absolutely mad?
Yeah, I think that's low, extra low in the chat, just doing some lovely lols and sweet and woo. I'm not sure what he's on, but he's hyping up the chat at least. That seems to be the only one though, so if someone wants to join him in adding some hype, I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We love hearing from our fans of XRL, and it's just an absolute dream to interact with you guys and just to have that kind of conversation, if you will, just otherworldly, if you will. But yeah, just an absolute crazy time here in Azerbaijan for the XRL X2 League. The only time I can remember that we had to do a restart because of somebody going early, that was Tigris, and that was last year for the final race in Abu Dhabi. Which was pretty insane. So yeah, let's just hope that we don't repeat that same mistake again. However, the race will go on if somebody does do that or not. Hopefully Wise doesn't repeat that mistake. Otherwise, that might have cost him the championship. After all, he is indeed leading in points. However, it might knock him down a peg or two if he doesn't win this race. And with the added pressure coming from Atway, as well as some of the other drivers that are willing to just absolutely take over Wise's position.
Well, on the upside, we get to see or hear your lovely voice with the race start once again. So that's a bonus of it, I suppose.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I guess we get to do another lights out again, eh? Right. So as Herbie, J-Bend, and Smooth are continuing to get themselves readied up and to be lined up on the grid, and here we go. Right, and we should be seeing all the cars on the grid soon. Any second now.
Oh, I haven't had a double restart in a while. Don't want to jinx myself with that again.
So yeah, an absolute oddity of a session, of a race session so far. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully, Wise doesn't make that same mistake, because otherwise, I think that's gonna be like a one race quali ban. I think that's what the rules said.
Yeah, that would really not be good for him. Well, I doubt he'll make the mistake again, but you never know.
Yeah, so. So I was just wondering, is this the first time that it's happened to you?
Um, I believe, I think in XRL it might have been. Surprisingly and definitely, you don't actually have it happen that much, even though you'd almost expect it to happen. But from what I can remember, I haven't had one, at least not for a while anyway.
Hmm. So yes, a definitely odd start for XRLX2 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. However, we will be continuing to go off after the 5 minutes has indeed elapsed. Okay, so Zola is in fact confirming, because of him going early, he will get quali ban next race.
That is really not good.
Yes, especially not for currently the leader for the season. That's going to give Waldo
No.
a chance to catch up, as well as the rest of the grid.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you imagine something like that happening to Lewis Hamilton, that would be insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As now Zola signs first, as well as the rest of the drivers continuing to ready up for the race. Thankfully, Zola does give the go ahead, and we will be going on track once more. Hopefully, not with the absolute carnage that we saw with that original start, but let's see what we can do with this new start as now the drivers get lined up on the grid. Here we go. 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and... Or is it? And there it is! It's go, 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 go! Here at Bahrain! So far, everybody getting away cleanly. That's gonna be Waldo, followed by Tootie, followed by Danny, followed by Fiend, followed by Edgar. So far, no carnage to be seen. That's gonna be no carnage. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought I saw something there. Oh, that's a Ferrari wide, the number 86 machine. I think that's gonna be either of Zola or Lowe. But so far, everybody getting away cleanly through the second time around. Now, so far, so good for the mad train of cars. That's going to be a McLaren. That's going to be Edgar and Danny currently having a bit of a fight. Right in front of right behind the two leaders, that being Tootie and Waldo. So far, Wise has made up 2 positions from Jeebus and Gelbend. But so far, everybody indeed getting away cleanly. That crazy, colorful train of cars as they now go through the S-bends.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent start for most of the guys. It was fairly clean as well. Ooh, play flag, what's that? It's Fiend. What happens to Fiend? He's gone.
Dear.
Curve of doom. Happens.
Oh, we got
Fiend is
spin
off and he's out. He's got the
Oh!
race.
Yeah, I just saw his tire disconnect from the car, and this camera is just shaking. Look at the car. If you can see through from the screen, that's the Racing Point card that's just absolutely shaking all over the shops. Thankfully, that won't call out a safety car. However, it will through Sector 2 and Sector 3 continue to be a yellow flag. Fortunately, it's not currently a on-track hazard. That's going to be definitely a disappointing first lap for Fiend, and definitely be an unfortunate one at that. For now, currently 2D currently taking the lead of this race, as we now come around to lap 2 out of 29. But Waldo very close behind, and with that continuous train of cars, could see that Danny would be right beside that papaya orange McLaren of Edgar once more. However, he also does have to defend with that with Zola right next to his rear wing as they go through the S-bend once more. That's Zola a little bit wide. However, he will make it, unlike Fiend, who is now our first retirement.
And 2D in the lead is already taken to a 1 second gap to Bruno behind him, so for now at least it's looking like he is going to be having a pretty good run at having a chance of winning this race. If he can keep up the pace, then he'll definitely be one of the favourites.
Absolutely. However, the Ferraris are indeed also catching up now, both to the two, that being the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull of Waldo and 2D. As now, I think, yep, that's Lowe passing now Zola. With Lowe now performing the fastest lap so far in this race.
Yeah, the two Ferraris are very close together as well. Hopefully they won't get each other's way. They also have Young Uber quite close behind them.
Absolutely, the train of cars does continue. However, that is Gelbend starting to, he's seeming to start in slowing his pace. But I think as the race continues to unfold, we will be seeing the grid continue to spread out. Which we have no idea what will happen next. Oh! That's Zola! That's Zola that started going a bit skittish, and that's gonna force Young and Careless right by him. That's gonna be definitely incredibly unfortunate for Zola. However, it does seem that Zola is wishing to get the run back on Careless and Young. That's going to be Tygoras watching all of the action as all of the DRS winglets go now wide. That's going to be Zola. He's not going to try and go inside the track. He's going to continue to stay fairly clean and consistent. As now Tygoras is now right at the back of the Ferrari. And that's going to be a dive bomb. But will it stick? It's going to be close. The two Formula One cars. Oh, they nearly touch. As Zola now apparently goes wide for Tygoras to go ahead and pass through. So far, even though we don't have that much drama that we saw at the beginning of the race, it's definitely not uneventful.
No, this has been pretty good, and it's also been no safety cars or anything yet, which is nice for kind of the flow of the race, and we've got battles going on all across the track still.
Absolutely, and now I'm riding on board with the McLaren of Edgar, trying to find some way to get the run on and then pass Waldo. However, it will be definitely tricky. Waldo being, I believe that's going to be the second place. Yeah, I think it's going to be Waldo in second for the points. But with Wise now having a quali ban for next race, but that's going to be Canada next weekend. It's definitely going to be seeming to be a fairly interesting one. Jelben getting the first 3-second time penalty. Oh, that's a bit of hard rotation from Edgar as he continues to go through the fairly intricate parts of Sector 2. But so far, a fairly decent race for the first 5 laps. Are now coming on to 6 when Tootie goes by next time. So far, it seems that Tootie and Waldo are starting to, or Tootie is now starting to pull ahead of Waldo as the 6th lap now elapses. Definitely seems Tootie will be running away with this race if possible. Tootie currently being 7th in the points. This first place finish will absolutely boost himself at least somewhere near Tigores, I think. So that's going to be around the top 5.
And he is, for now, like you said, in a pretty good spot, but he is still within that second gap to Waldo, which obviously will give Waldo some DRS, which we'll be getting in a moment once it comes up the straight. So if he wants to kind of give him the best shot, just get out of this 1 second gap, and he can hopefully just cruise. But for now, he might not yet, but maybe in coming laps, if Waldo can continue to push, he might have to think about having a bit of a battle with him.
Absolutely, but currently Tootie is, so far, so good for him. However, Waldo in his Alpha Tauri is definitely closing in on the distance, and not to remind everybody that Edgar is close behind Waldo by around 0.04 of a second.
And
that's odd.
extra.
Herbie has apparently rejoined as Shmi now gets a 5-second time penalty, or no, 3-second time penalty. So far, no carnage to report.
No extra. I've been saying in the Twitch chat, I think it was a bit of a glitch that made him crash because he originally broke his wing hitting into the wall, and then his tyre sort of popped off when he started reversing. So not surprisingly, he's a bit annoyed about that, and it's just unfortunate. It does happen in this game sometimes, and you have to just deal with it, really.
Absolutely, it's definitely just absolutely terrible for these drivers, because especially for Fiend. I mean, he was looking pretty good for the first part of the race. I think he was right with Young Maneuver. But unfortunately, with that crash, just absolutely put him out of the race. And with some okay mechanics, but a little bit janky mechanics from Codemasters, so that's probably what did him in, is just mainly a whole ton of bad luck. Which hopefully he'll be able to reconnect with next weekend. However, Fiend currently has no points on the board, which will indeed continue to set him back. With currently now Low being now in the top 5, he'll be trying to get somewhere past the main portion of the grid, at least getting somewhere in the top 10. But also, I don't think, I think we should be also turning our eyes to Wise. Even though with his quali ban for next race, he is absolutely hauling it all the way through, as he continues to hunt down. That's going to be Smooth. But so far, so good for the drivers. So far, no wrecks to report of. Just a very, very mad Wise to just trying to scramble up there to get back into his lead. However, once more, the quali ban for next weekend will definitely put an absolute strain on him. Oh, and that's all kinds of position change with Dallas Jackson, Lowe, and Zola. As Lowe and that's gonna be Lowe and Zola both doing, I think, a double stack. That's gonna be putting both Ferraris now to the back of the grid as Herbie now passes by Zola.
Yeah, Zola's lost a lot of time in that pit stop. He's now down in last with about a 7-second gap, or actually no, it's going up now, 8-second gap.
Sector 1
to,
yellow flags. That's going to be Young Maneuver going wide for some reason. I suppose now he's letting Zola by there. But definitely interesting to see from Young Maneuver going wide. He's definitely been fairly consistent through Azerbaijan, as I can remember. However, 2D does indeed continue to seem that he is still holding off Waldo fairly well, and indeed Edgar, with only his currently 8-lap-old mediums. However, Waldo does have the same compound on. However, there is Edgar with his oh, and that's going to be Edgar into the pits. Never mind. So his potential has apparently degraded as much as his tires, which is definitely unfortunate. Now that's Ashway wishing to take, if you will, a bit of revenge from his fairly terrible qualifying session, from whatever we saw in the exit of Q2.
Yeah, it seems like for the two drivers up the front there, the gap between those two is staying the same, but the gap behind to Danny is just ever increasing. So maybe we'll look at these two guys just leading up front, and maybe we'll
yellow
see.
flags. That's going to be a Ferrari.
No.
Yeah, that's Zola. That's Zola doing a spinola. Oh dear. Definitely so far so not very decent for Zola. He probably was talking to Binotto, but still. So now Zola has a lot of work to do if he wants to get back into this race. However, that won't be too hard after all. Oh, wow, never mind. Young Maneuver now being, or Zola now being 47 seconds behind Young Maneuver. That's set him back fairly significantly. But why did he do that early pit stop? I think it was because of if he thought he could pit early, as Smooth is now doing. If he can get the rest of the grid to pit, he can maybe get himself somewhere into that position where he can absolutely dominate. But so far, it's not looking that the idea is going to plan. Waldo is continuing to absolutely scare 2D, but 2D is so far currently not alarmed by Waldo's presence. He's just trying to continue to stay consistent and just trying to further somehow get away from Waldo. Danny JJ currently 3.6 seconds behind Waldo, is pretty much cut off from the two race leaders.
So yeah, on to lap 12 now, and it's pretty spread out in the field. We still the leaders close, and looking at the timing screens, Kellis Jackson is making a move on Shmi for P13. I think Lowell's just got past John for.
Is that going to be a switcheroo? No, it's not. It seems Careless will continue to hold on, but that DRS is indeed enabled. That's going to play a very crucial role for Careless Jackson as Shmi and Careless both come down the straightaway, and Shmi now takes back the position from Careless Jackson. However, Careless will not be denied as he now goes once more offensive with I think that was a bit of a tap from Jackson to Shmi.
Yeah, certainly very close.
But anyways, that's going to be Careless Jackson now once more in 13th. Fairly at the rear of the grid, but it's definitely an interesting fight nonetheless.
Extra low is very close to Tamara. In fact, I think he's going to be making a move down the inside into 11. And
there he goes.
The P10.
The Ferrari now streaking ahead of Tamir. Or so he thinks. Will Tamir be able to recover? Absolutely not. He's going to be absolutely denied from low. Now comes Jeebus John looking to make some form of move on Tamir. Oh no, he's not. And into the pits goes Jeebus John.
So does John pitting their show maybe almost time for some of the guys to start pitting up front, at least those on the mediums, because I'm not sure of the exact tyre life, but they've been on them for a while now, so we may be looking at some guys starting to pit soon.
It could be, because now the only one who currently has changed for softs, that's going to be Jeebus John. Everybody else is either on mediums or the few hards, which that's going to be, I believe that's going to be Atway, Joe, Minnie, and Wise. And then, of course, Joe Bend. So an absolute interesting race unfolding in front of our eyes. As now, that's going to be Jeebus John with a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be Sector 2, yellow flags! Oh, that's been cleared up, it seems. It's going to be a bit of a rear grid fight between Zola and Jeebus John. Jeebus John definitely wishing to reprimand himself for trying to stay in the pits. He's just trying to find any way past Zola, but he's just not finding a way. And that's going to be into the pits going. That's going to be Tamir. It's going to be setting him back a little bit. And here comes the last place guys with Zola and Jeebus John still fighting it out. That's going to be Sector 2 yellow flags. And that's going to be Atway with the safety car now coming into play. Don't know what happened there. I guess he just went wide. However, now with going into the pits, that being Tootie, now that's going to put him back all the way back into 6th. Waldo now leads this race, however, with Joe Pelly currently at around 21.3 seconds. behind, that's gonna be Waldo. But of course, they're gonna have to catch the safety car, and then all in total, we'll just have to exchange and continue to warm up those fresh tires behind the safety car to see what they can do to get somewhere near the race lead. But so far, so good as Waldo. Oh, never mind. Waldo goes into the pits. How interesting. With only 4 drivers now having 3-second time penalties. Fortunately, it seems that, oh, that's low, getting a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. That's bad. But, fortunately for Wise, he's pretty much made up all of the time he's lost. Now with this, pit stop of the 21 Red Bull machine. Oh wait, no, that's Careless. Never mind. Wise, now coming out of the pits. That's all of the cars coming out of the pits. That's also gonna help Smooth get back up there with the rest of the field. However, that's also going to be Zola and Judas still at the back. With now 15 out of 29 laps to go. So far, so good for the drivers. So far, only that one little incident with Fiend, and that's it. So far, no carnage other than to be reported of. Now let's just hope that it continues to stay that way. As Waldo and the safety car does come around this lap by, it will be around 13 laps to go for the finish. As you can see now that all of the car's tires are currently being warmed up, as hopefully the safety car will come in. It's not going to be this time, but hopefully soon the safety car will be coming in.
It's going to be difficult for those on hards because obviously the hards are the highest tyre and they are the hardest to warm up. So these guys, the top 4, all on the brand new hard tyres, they are really going to have to start wheeling and maybe even braking and locking up their wheels so that they can get their tyres to that kind of optimum 90-degree temperature and have as best start as possible.
Absolutely. However, with Waldo and his current race lead, but it's now kind of back to where it started. However, it's now changed where Waldo is now in front and Tootie is now behind. That's going to mean that Tootie has to make up all of his time that he lost in that pit stop, which he pretty much has, to catch up and indeed pass Waldo for the lead. So even though it is definitely not the most catastrophic race, it has been the most interesting. We'll just have to see what else the drivers have in store for us, as next time by will be 12 laps. Indeed, it does seem that, oh, and there it is. Race control has confirmed the safety car will be in this lap by. As the lights are now out of the safety car. As the drivers continue to get raring to go for green flags. As the cars continue to weave down the first backstretch before the home stretch. That's all of the cars weaving. as now that the turn comes and goes, and we'll be under green shortly soon. And here we go. We're back under green. That's the already yellow flags. Or so far that I've seen. Oh, never mind. Oh! That's going to be some contact. I think I saw a bit of debris there from some of the drivers. That's going to be actually with I think it's going to be a 3-second time penalty with maybe colliding with somebody. Indeed, as well as now we currently now have I think that's going to be around 10 laps to go. Oh wait, no, never mind. So we currently have we still have 12 laps to go. Where's going to be our first fight? I wonder who's going to be wanting to pull up ahead and maybe try and take a decent race lead, or at least getting in front of the other. That's going to be, I think that's going to be Edgar and Joe Pelly as they come out of the stretch before the home stretch. Joe Pelly making that car pretty much like a wall for Edgar, but it's going to be a wall that he has to get past, but that's going to be hard because his ERS and his overtake button is so far, so very much depleted. Definitely a hard breaking point for all of the drivers as now Tigorus now takes third place in front of Danny JJ. Danny's going to try to look back and look on, that's going to be the outside. However, there's going to be no room there, so he's going to have to stay with Tigorus as they continue to now go down through Sector 2. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be around turn 10. That they're now going through. Yep, that's going to be turn 10. That now Tigorus exits, as well as the other drivers.
And already we're seeing what we saw before the safety car, the front two pulling away, still staying in the gap. But to be fair, the gap between them is much bigger than it was when we were switched the other way around, and Waldo is in a very good spot at the moment with not too long left in the race, almost coming on to the coming to 10 laps left. So now Waldo is in a good spot, and Tootie just needs to really pick up the pace if he wants to have a chance at getting that top spot.
Indeed. Now with Minnie now getting a 3-second time penalty, it's going to seem that Tootie will continue to have to keep climbing and keep pushing if he wants to get first position back. And Tootie will absolutely get a full treat if he gets somewhere in the top 3. That's going to put him, especially if he gets first place, that's going to put him, I think, going to be near the top 5. That's going to maybe even pass halfway, but we're just going to have to see of where Tootie can place in this race, as now there's 10 laps to go here at this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Jewish John and Shmi are currently having it out for 19th place. Basically just trying to shove each other back into that position, but neither one wishing to give up. With now the train of cars coming out of the final corner and to start their 20th lap. Now Waldo putting on the fastest lap with a 1:30.2. Not as quick that we saw in qualifying, but definitely quick. as now the midfield is seeming to starting to get bunched up and are having a bit of a fight. That's going to be Careless Jackson and Smooth having a bit of a battle there. And it seems that Jackson's going to try to make the move, but it seems that he made the move a bit prematurely because Smooth was able to just simply get away from him right then and there. Whoa! And that's Careless Jackson going wide. Oh! Oh no! Carnage at turn 10. Yellow flags! Yellow flags! That's going to be all sorts of carnage. That's going to be Tamier F1 with a bit of damage to the front wing, as well as Herbie and the other cars. That's going to be a yellow. That's going to be a hardcore yellow flags, but we are under green. I don't know what happened there. I think that's going to be some of the cars, including Young Maneuver, who currently have some front wing damage. That's going to play a very, very crucial role to the end of this race. Let's just hope that that doesn't happen again. There's Lowe with, oh, now Asquith. Now with the fast slap with a 149.9. That's going to be Young Maneuver now coming in for his wing replacement. Talk about drama.
That is really unfortunate for those guys because that's going to lose them so much time. Assuming they'll all go into some fresh softs, and I suppose maybe it could give them one of the fastest laps, but even so, it's really not ideal.
Absolutely. And that's going to be Young Maneuver coming out of the pits now with his new wing. That's going to be also Herbie and Tamier fighting it out as both of them are in the pits. But now that's going to be Herbie out of the pits. And that's going to be Tamier soon following. But so far, Waldo is looking to stay in his lead, and he does not look to be taking it back anytime soon. But so far, as we now head on to the 8 more laps to go in this 29 lap race. That's going to be a bit of brake lockup from Waldo. Perhaps maybe applying too much pressure to the brakes. It does indeed do that. Waldo needs to just keep his consistent lap time as he stays fairly well out of 2D's detection range. Nair now in a second now in front of 2D. Also, something else interesting has developed, that being there are 3 soft compound tire drivers, and they're all pretty much at the back of the grid in the midfield. That's going to be all mediums except Shmi, who's on the hards. And then that's going to be the top 4, that being Danny, Tigoras, 2D, and Waldo, who are currently on the hards. A very interesting development.
Yeah, if Shmi's kind of ruined the whole pattern there. If he had gone some mediums, it would have looked very nice.
That's going to be also Smooth into the pits. That's going to be also to get his tires changed now to softs. That's going to be Young Maneuver now taking the fastest lap of the race with a 1:29.0. But so far, no very large battles to report of.
Yeah, the gap from the leaders was quite close, about 4 tenths at one point, but seems to have died back down. And I think 2D's push is really trying to catch up to Waldo, but Waldo's just very quick and he's really not able to get anything too close. He will have DRS, so maybe he can use that to catch up, but he really has to pull something out the back here, because not long left now, only 3 laps left of this race, so he just has to push as hard as he can.
Oh, that's J-Bend going wide out of, that's going to be turn 13 that he goes wide out of the exit of. And that's going to play a crucial role as he now gets forced back into 15th, with now Shmi and Jubas now currently having a bit of a fight. That's J-Bend! That's going to go 3 wide into, that's going to be turn 1. Absolutely incredible driving by these 3, and that's going to be actually now with another 3-second time penalty. That's going to be Jebus John and Shmi now getting their DRS open and trying to overtake Zola. Oh, wait, no, J-Bend. Jailbend. Seriously, though, I don't know how to say many of these names. It's going to be 5 laps to go. Five more laps to go here at Azerbaijan. And so far, it looks like it's going to be a nice win for Waldo. That's going to further, hopefully... Oh! That's going to be yellow flags! That's Herbie! That's Herbie going wide out of... I think that's going to be around turn 9. A definite disappointment.
Are getting very close.
But here comes Tamir. Now coming out, just trying to find some way past Herbie to see if he cannot just try and squeeze himself somewhere that's not last place. Oh, that's 2D now passing Waldo. I didn't see that because I was still paying attention to the yellow flag. Oh, another yellow flag, but that got cleared up immediately. Now that's 2D. 2D now taking the lead of this race, as now there's 4 laps left to go in this race, as the lead now goes through the treacherous turn 10. It seems to once more get it all completely correct, as 2D now leads the rest of the grid into the S-bends. So far, an interesting race that has developed here. Waldo continuing to stay aggressive on the rear of the Red Bull, just trying to find any way he can to get past 2D. But so far, 2D is definitely making himself a decent opponent for Waldo, as Waldo is going to try to see if he can't do a dive bomb. No, he's not going to be able to. It was just not, the gap wasn't there. However, Waldo does continue to have DRS, and that's going to help him dearly through these next couple of corners into now through near Sector 2. So far now, the grid has definitely widened out, as there's now around continuing to be 4 laps left in the race. That's going to be a bit of spin from Waldo. However, Waldo will maintain control of the car, and he will continue to stay in P3. But there is Tigoris that could still catch him if Waldo does indeed make a mistake.
So Waldo really has slowed down a lot here, especially with that almost spin, and Tigoris is so close now, and I mean, I think he would have been hoping for P1, but he may be now having to fight his life off for just P2. So this is going to be so close. I mean, right at the end of the race as well, we may be seeing a last lap battle for a podium position.
It will be definitely interesting. Danny JJ also there to catch Tigris if he makes a mistake. But it's pretty much all now or never, as now we head on to now wait, no. I mean, 3 laps. No, that's going to be 2 laps left in the race. I'm starting to get all kinds of messed up. Oh dear, that's going to be Waldo getting passed by Tigris. Tigris has come into play some havoc, and indeed catch Waldo as he passes him by. And that's going to be J-Ben and Young Maneuver and Shmi still having that battle between each other. The racing point of Young Maneuver and Smooth are having a bit of a battle right now as they now come around to, I think that's going to be now turn 4 is now where they're heading. So far, a definitely interesting race to say the least. But here's the real question. Can Tigris maybe find a way past Tootie and maybe to win this race? After all, winning this race would put Tigris fairly that much closer, passing Danny JJ, and most likely find Waldo to now get second place. Now as we come now onto the penultimate lap, it's now or never for these drivers. But so far so good is Tootie's position looking like for now. He is 1.4 seconds ahead of Tigris. He just needs to maintain that lead all the way to the finish. But here's the real question, can he? As the driver is now starting to come down to, it's going to be, I think that's going to be turn 9? No, it's going to be turn 8. Now coming now on to turn 9 and indeed turn 10. As we can hear the shrieking of the V6 turbos as they now climb through the S-bends. And for the penultimate time. But so far, so stable looks the rest of the grid. As long as nothing else happens for the rest of the race, it will seem as follows. 2D will and maybe will win this race, followed by Tigris, followed by Waldo, followed by Danny, followed by Minnie, followed by Joe, followed by Roe, followed by Edgar, followed by Atway, followed by Careless, followed by Wise, and then Zola, Jeebus, Jelben. Oh wait, never mind, there's Waldo! There's Waldo going wide on Tigris. Tigris trying to find any way past him, and he will, around the outside. That's contact! That's a little bit of contact from Waldo and Tigris as they go wide, and now as they both are side by side, as they go now into, I believe that's going to be turn 4 of the race. That's going to be a bit of a wide push by Tigris as now he gets back into third place. It's now the final lap of the race. Currently, it seems it's going to be a bit of a fight between Tamir and Waldo not Tamir and Waldo, Tamir and Herbie for the back markers of this race. That's going to be yellow flags. Oh no! That's low of the race. Oh dear. I'm now riding on board with Zola to see maybe what of the condition of the Ferrari, and oh dear, he did a bit of a spinala pretty much right at the end. He's going to be absolutely furious, absolutely flaming from that development. However, it does seem, that's going to be yellow flags again. That's going to be Herbie, I think, having a bit of a spin. But he will, I think, make it to the end of this race. And here comes Tootie. Tootie wins the Bahrain Grand Prix followed by Waldo, followed by Danny, followed by Tigoras, which is interesting. Oh, there's a bit of a rear tap by Danny, and continues to be have a side-by-side tap, which is interesting. Oh dear, that's Young Maneuver. Young Maneuver has a bit of a spin. Tamir is going to be maybe be able to make a form of comeback. And that's going to be Shmee and Smooth still having it out. This is their final time to maybe make a move. And it's going to be Shmee that takes it for 15th place. But Young Maneuver is the next one to cross the line. And there he goes. Next is Tamir F1 and Herbie. Unfortunately, Tamir and Herbie both are a bit low on their fuel. And they have to quickly go to win. Otherwise, they're just going to be caught up. And that's going to be Tamir crossing the line. And now we're just waiting is for XRL Herbie. So far, unfortunately, being relegated to the rear of this race. But has indeed come to finish nonetheless. Only two retirements from Fiend and Low, which is definitely interesting, especially for Low. I don't know what happened there. I think they maybe caught up with the rest of the drivers. That's going to be Wise getting the Driver of the Day award. But personally, to me, I think the Driver of the Day should go to... Actually, I don't know. Who do you think the Driver of the Day should go to?
Oh, it's a tough one. There was a lot of really good performances. I'll try and quickly see the starting grids once I get to the finishing results. I mean, the race winner as well, to the brilliant job. He started second and got up to first, but then I think fourth and fifth, Tigoras and Pelly, they started 12th and 13th. Both of them have done an amazing job. But then also, although he did ready up early, Wise, who was starting at the back because of that, also managed to get up to 9th. So I think probably Tigoras for me would get it. But still, really good drivers from pretty much all of the drivers left there.
Absolutely. So that's going to mean that Tootie, after winning this race, will in fact make his main stake. I think he's going to actually get into, around 5th, into the top 5. And then with Waldo coming in second, that's going to further put Wise in danger of his position in first. And besides which, with the quali ban with Wise, and with only getting 2 points, that's going to bring Wise's point score up to 55. That's not going to be a lot, not compared to what Waldo has, and that's going to be around 8 points. And so that's going to absolutely boost him and the rest of the grid upward, and that's going to threaten Wise's position. However, this race does die down here as the race in Bahrain closes. We now look onward to next weekend, that being, of course, Canada, the Circuit de Villeneuve. I think I've said that right. Hopefully, hopefully I have. But yeah, that's going to be the Bahrain GP for you. Do we want to see if we can't get any of the drivers in?
Yeah, we sure. If they want to, then let's see one up.
Okay, then I'll see if I can't pull in. Shoot, everybody's going. I guess you want to have Waldo on? Oh.
Yeah, we could try.
There we go.
I've like 2D as well if he wants to join, but we'll see, I suppose.
Okay, well, doesn't seem that Waldo is going to join the party, which is going to be unfortunate. So if you want, you can invite Tootie in.
Okay.
Okay, hello Tootie. Go ahead and remember to get the check mark on.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Done.
So, what an absolute incredible race by you. Just an absolute incredible fight with you and Waldo. What kind of happened there for the dying laps of the race when Waldo was pretty much up front and then you took it back? Looked like a pretty intense fight.
I'd say it was a stressful race, but although can you repeat, please? You hear me, guys?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you repeat?
Come again?
Can you repeat
Can you
the
repeat?
question?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, okay. So, what was going on when Waldo was starting to really start to pulling out ahead of you? How did you find your way back and past him?
I saw that Waldo was wrong in the turn 7, I think, and then I pushed hard and I entered the zone, and yeah, that's it.
Well, so far, a very simple race strategy, as well as, so with you taking first position here in Bahrain, this will, in fact, boost yourself into, I believe, around the top 5. How do you feel about that?
I feel very happy. It's my first win in this league, and yeah, I'm so happy with this.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to add in IPR?
No, I think that's about it for me.
Okay, so thank you, Tootie.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Yep, thank you. I guess, Waldo, go ahead and include your audio, or did he already leave the party? Oh.
No, it's
Nope,
included.
there's
Yeah.
Waldo. So, Waldo, that fight
Yeah.
with Tootie.
Yeah, shoot me. Jesus.
Talk about giving a run for your money. You're pretty much the runner-up for the season, and now Tootie currently is now in the top 5, kind of threatening your position. However, Wise is indeed still in front. So, do you think with the race ban that you will be able to catch up to Wise and maybe even overtake him in the points?
Yeah, I'm hoping and counting on that. I'm gonna win by driving, am I?
Well, we saw a pretty intense fight between you and Tootie. Just an absolutely stellar fight between you two. Was it kind of odd to see that Tootie was starting to, do so well, even though she was originally, during the standings of Azerbaijan, was indeed in 7th for the points?
No, I think it's the early season, so I don't know what's the pace with everyone. So yeah.
I see. So, so how are you? Oh, also, I was just wondering, how were you able to persevere, even though you did have hards on, with all of that less grip? However, you were be able to have those tires live a little while longer. How did it kind of feel to stay with Tootie, even though you did have hard compound tires on?
Didn't Tootie had also? I thought he was on hard also. I just ran my DRS. Just got away from the DRS.
I dropped out pretty fine until one mistake, and I knew I was done after that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Waldo. An absolute incredible race. We hope to see you maybe succeed next weekend at Canada.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as Bahrain once more dies down for the fourth season of XRL and with X2, we indeed move on to Canada for our next race, which will definitely be seeing some action for Waldo's race ban, or no, not race ban, quali ban here in Azerbaijan. However, for now, that's going to be the end of me and IPR. If you loved it, please go ahead and follow us on Twitch, give the stream a bit of a like, and share it with your friends. As well as if you're watching in post, please subscribe for every single time we go lights out, especially with next week at Canada. That's going to be definitely an interesting race, to say the least. But please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, give a like, and share it with your friends, so that way we can get more fans into X2, and indeed all the other XRL leagues here in XRL. Is there anything else you want to say, APR?
That's about it from me, but yeah, thanks for letting me join you today. It was a very fun race.
Absolutely. And then, of course, before we head out, we also wish to thank our sponsors, One Tap, Ens3D, CDkeys.com, and Cruise Control. That helps us with these races, and once more, it's an absolute honor to be supporting them. But for now, that's going to be it from me and IPR, and we will see you next time.